Welcome to this episode of the Strong Kind podcast. This episode is with Nic Chiri. Nic runs a race in West Point, Iowa called the Broken Anvil Backyard Ultra. A Backyard Ultra is a race where you run 4.167 miles inside of an hour. And if you do that for 24 hours, you run 100 miles. At this event, someone actually ran for, I believe, 137 miles in total. It's a really fun event. I participated in it last month. Nic's a super interesting guy. He got into running and ultra running during the pandemic. He shares some of his stories about getting into running and why he thinks it's so powerful. And we talked about physical fitness, mental health, and just meeting our challenges face on. I hope you enjoy this episode. I really enjoyed talking to Nic. Thanks so much for being here. And if you're struggling with pain or injury or you want to get back to performing well, please reach out to me at dr.dave.strengthandkindness on Instagram. I'd love to help you out in any way I can. Thanks again. Peace. So tell us, there was a pandemic and you started working on your fitness.
Yep, and I thought running was the cheapest, easiest way to do it. So I started running. Started with a 10K, and then jumped to a half marathon, did that, and then went to a half marathon out in Colorado Springs. And then from there I did Aravaipa put on a Backyard Ultra quarantine. Backyard Ultra is what they called it. And I got a 50K in doing that on my own, running through the streets of West Point. And that's where I fell in love with long distances, and that's a whole nother story. But then that's kind of where I got the idea of Broken Anvil. That was the route I chose for the quarantine ultra. Was
really?
Yeah, because it was away from people. People were giving you like the stink eye being outside type of thing. So I went to the campground and ran that loop, and I was like, as I was running for 8 hours, I was like, man, this would be really cool to put a race on. And then I dove into like the Backyard Ultra series with Laz Lake and all that, and started talking to him, and it didn't take long, and it wasn't super expensive to do. And just kind of started. I mean, that's what it did. I got on Ultra Sign Up, set up a race, talked to my brother who's a graphic designer, and kind of just evolved from there. Yeah.
I love that. You mentioned like the not an expensive thing to get into, and running has kind of, it's funny because like running, you really just need a pair of shoes and some shorts.
Yeah.
And like it's okay that people, there's like a whole culture and gear associated with things. That's usually what happens with people, right? But I fell in love with running when I was a high schooler. I needed to run 3 miles in under like 20 minutes to make the soccer team, is basically what it boiled down to. And my freshman year, I was slow. And I love soccer. So it's like, and I was never like quick, but I had to reconcile that. So I got up the nerve to go run around the high school, the 6 laps that you would do to do the 3 mile run. And it made me realize like, oh, I can get like better at stuff. Me and you were quickly chatting off on Instagram about mindset, right? And Carol Dweck's book. And it like was one of those things that it's weird. In your teenage years, you start to almost think like, I'm kind of like doomed to what I have. Maybe, hopefully not. But like running showed me like, oh, you can improve at stuff. Like you're not just X, right? Yeah. And that's what, even during that run, 2 weeks ago now, like 3 weeks ago now, I had insights that I don't think I've had in a long time. Just like, you know, you get 20 miles into something and you're like on, I think that's like the 5th loop or whatever. And like, damn, like I thought about like parenting and life in ways that I hadn't thought about, right?
Yeah.
You said you fell in love with long distance or ultra running. What made you fall in love with it?
What you just touched on, really. The weird places your brain goes when things get hard. It's kind of like you don't, like when you run these long distances, once you get into the quote unquote pain cave or it's painful, it's like all you want to do is quit, but that's kind of why you do it, is to get to that point. Not because it's like you're tough and it hurts, but I did it because you question stuff on a level that's a little more ethereal and serious, because you get down to the roots of it, like what's worth it? Does this make sense? Why am I doing it? Um, and you're getting fit while you're doing it. And the older I get,
Yeah.
the more I love it. It's like therapeutic, absolutely. Where I got to run today, and it's not because I need to get the miles in. It's because my brain needs it. I need it. I need to get to ask these questions on this level. You know.
Yeah. I that's one of the things. So when I stopped running for a decent amount of time, at least as much, because like I was like fitness is so interesting because there's all these bullshit theories and things out there, and I read something one time from this guy who was strong, and it was like you don't need to be running, and like I lifted weights. I got like fat right before our wedding. My wife was like mad because I was like a pretty lean guy. Then I gained like 40 pounds, and I was like squatting more and like lifting more, but like and it was cool. But I'm also like back to those levels at a lighter body weight now, and it's like, why did you do that, dude? Like, what were you doing? But anyway, everybody gets to choose their own adventure. But like when my wife got pregnant, it's like, dude, your time is going to, and I'm pretty fortunate because my time is very, very much like I get to manage it but it's also I run my own business. But like running is like I can literally lace up my shoes and go. Doesn't mean I can go fast right away. Usually you feel like shit for a short period of time or a relatively period of time. That's okay. I think that's just normal, right? I think we should normalize
Agreed.
that. But then where your brain goes, even in a mile. Like, I mean, I ran a mile yesterday, and like, you know, I was only 8 minutes into, you know, a 30-minute mile, and I'm like, the clarity that my brain had, and the palate cleanse from my day was just super powerful. And lifting gives me that to some extent. Lifting's just a little bit more objective. Like, you can be really hard on yourself in the moment. Like, if you're not lifting the same weight you did like a couple weeks ago or whatever, you can kind of be an asshole to yourself. Whereas like for me, I accept that like running is just going to be a little bit more fluctuating. But also I felt like shit yesterday, and then my pace was actually faster than it's been sometimes. So it's
Sure.
like, you don't know. But I think that's the power of these physical pursuits, that we're losing it, right? Like we're everything is so comfortable. And don't get me wrong, like I'm sitting here drinking coffee in my basement, we're talking on a video screen, right? It's nice, but it's also like we're weirdly out of touch with our physicality anymore.
Oh man, I couldn't agree with you more on that. I'm on a journey myself. I love this, and I don't mean this to be egotistical, and it can be. I don't really care, but I love doing things most people can't, or that most people. And it's to inspire. It's not to be like I can do it, you can't. But
Yeah.
like running far, not many people do that. Call it 1% of the population. And then
Yeah.
I've been alcohol sober for 5 years, a couple weeks ago. And then I've just started this straight edge journey where I'm trying to cut out nicotine, THC, extracurricular, anything. Not that I was a druggie by any means, but like just a super clean journey that's more focused on, I'm trying to get more mindful and finally understanding how difficult that is. I've always been someone who's been, and I've followed your podcasts and read some of your stuff, and I think our mentality is very similar, and like doing hard things make more sense to me, and getting through that just makes it feel worth it, and like I'm on the right path of it. And then mindfulness has always been hard because it's like, will you just sit there and listen to the sounds and focus on your breathing? Like how anybody can do that. And then to realize it's really like just understanding, trying to stay in the moment. And that has been so difficult for me. Like just yesterday I was working on it and I had to stop because my mind was racing too much. I'm like, this just isn't working. But that's kind of what I like, is like, I'm going to get there. And part of this journey is tons of failures. Like I have failed at it so far, and understanding that is like step one, that it is super hard.
Yeah. I mean, like, we're kind of like inundated. I mean, I fell in love with I think Joe Rogan, I fell in love with this podcast prior to COVID, and like I think some of it was he was touching on like chords as like a male, like doing hard things. You know, there's also a lot of conspiratorial things, and like that side of it, I like don't really care about. It's fun to listen
Yeah, I
to. Like,
agree.
it's entertainment.
He's a good listen.
People need to understand like this shit is entertainment, and it gets a certain amount of our attention, right? But it's the same thing you mentioned with like what we're doing. Like everybody, you get choices, right? But what we're doing with with alcohol, with nicotine, with these things, or we are blunting emotional or sensory responses that honestly make us uncomfortable, right? We're like, why do people reach for a cigarette? Because in that moment, you know exactly what you're doing. You're having a cigarette, you're like chilling a little bit. When you're drinking a beer, like in that moment, you know what you're doing. And the human desire for clarity is so profound that we usually reach for the easy ways to get it, right?
Yeah.
And that's like one of these things. Like, I mean, it's emotional regulation is like the hardest thing for people to. It's really hard for us to do. I look at my 1-year-old son, and he's like literally learning to emotionally regulate, and I'm like, damn, adults do the same shit. Like, oh, I didn't get that food. I like reaching for it, right? Or I didn't get that. It's just like the amplification of like that ego, and like your ego's not good or bad. It's how you use it, right?
Yeah.
Like you saying like I like doing hard shit, and it's about you to show yourself, and then it honestly like yeah. I mean, I think one of the weird things I learned from like social media marketing is it can be very, very much look at me, look at what I'm doing. But it also can be, look at what I'm doing, and I am not that different from you, right? And I'm not that amazing or gifted or XYZ, but I'm still, like, figuring it out and getting better. And I think, like, that's what that's what I want people to hopefully take from a lot of this shit. Like, I'm not, like, you know, I'm a 37-year-old dude who likes to lift weights, and I'm a physical therapist. I also realize that people struggle with pain, and part of the things that help people understand pain is that, oh, like, sometimes you're just uncomfortable. Sometimes it's just a little scary.
Yeah.
And when you work through that, good shit happens. Like, dude, I tore my meniscus doing jujitsu like 4 years ago, and my knee swells up when I run because it's like not like short distances, but like mile 16 of Broken Anvil, like my knee was pretty swollen, like internally, like, and I could feel it.
Yeah.
And it hurt, but also it wasn't broken. Like it could still do its job, and you know, and you kind of get into that level of this is uncomfortable, but I'm handling it. That like is really powerful, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. That's part of the human element that kind of builds your character. How long can you handle the swollen knee, and you being a physical therapist understanding that it's not a permanent injury. I mean, where someone else is like, I don't want to. I mean, the more you know about your own body, the better off you can do these really, really long, painful endurance events. I mean, I was glued to my computer all week last week, and even today at the Moab 240, just watching people come in and finish. Just that's what I like most about race directing, is like seeing the looks on their faces when they get to the hard part, whether that's loop 3 or loop 20 or loop 30, and then you kind of get to see them work through it or not work through it. Like, you get to see the most raw emotion of a human saying, I quit. Like, seeing a tough woman or a tough dude say, that's it. And not like ooh, I'm tougher than you, but like, that's you. That's a human element that you pushed it. You found a new person in you. And even if you quit way earlier than you wanted, which most people do, most people are like, they go to the dark place of, man, that's not what I thought I could do. Like, they work through that, whether they know it or not. Like, that'll live with them for a week or a day or till they process it, and that makes a new person. I mean,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I love that, like that, because that's really how, I mean, how we come back from, or how we navigate like those struggles is huge. I mean, I ran with like my friend Kelly, who she stopped at 8. I think she stopped at 8. I think she stopped she stopped 1 or 2 before me. I ran with another friend, Melissa, and then Jess. She was the tall blonde. She was like bopping. Like, she was having a good time. And I'm like, Jess, whatever you're on, like, let's keep that going.
She was in good spirits, man.
Yeah, and she went and ran. I think she did her last loop. I think she did 10. I think she did 10. And she ran her last one with that. There was a guy, I can't remember his name, but he was still running them in like 43, 44 minutes. older guy, probably, I think he was in his 60s or whatever. And he was crushing it. She's like, we had a good conversation. And that was what I really appreciated about that event, amongst just that it was fun and different. But like, I was having conversations with people. Like, you're going at a pace that like is kind of the human running pace, which is like a conversational pace, depending on who you are. Like, I want to talk to you about the guy who won it, and just your interaction with that guy, because that guy was moving around just bopping, the whole time he was having a good time when I was running. But yeah, it was like, man, these conversations, like one guy, I think his name was Frank, he was like 65 and he got into ultra running at 50, and it's like, it's dope. It's what it's I don't want to get like too far off track, maybe we go this way, but like, we all think that humans are assholes anymore because of just what we see all the time, unfortunately, via the news and XYZ. And it's like, when you're close with another human and you're having a conversation, you're probably, going to take good things away from that stuff. And that's what I really appreciated throughout that race.
Yeah.
Throughout the event.
Yeah, Frank's a dude. He loves to talk running in his life, and most ultra runners do. Most of them are like, most of us are, you're a recluse in public, but if you get on a trail with somebody, you will tell your darkest secrets to them, and that's completely normal. That's kind of like the therapeutic edge you have. That's why backyards, and what's funny is I've never ran a backyard, ever.
Oh, really?
Just except that quarantine
one
I did on my own.
You did the quarantine one, yeah.
On my own. And a part of what makes it nervous for me is I am a recluse. And in most ultras, you are by yourself for a long period of time. Like maybe at the beginning you aren't, but I mean, a backyard, you're forced to be with people. You're forced to get to know them. And if you aren't going to talk, you are going to be the dickhead out there on the course, which is okay. Some people are like that.
Yeah.
But getting off. Okay, so going back to the Nic guy, the guy who ended up winning it.
Yeah.
He's a special kid, 23.
Yeah.
When he first signed up, he emailed me and was like, "Hey, I plan on doing high mileage, just to let you know." Basically was the email, which is cocky and weird, and I've never had that in 5 years. And I was like, cool, man, that's awesome. So I'm like, I better follow this guy, see what he's about. Got on his YouTube, social media, and I don't know if you followed him much, but interesting cat. Like,
yeah.
Vlogs everything, very inspiring. Like, seems like somebody much older than what he is. I think he's been through quite a bit. Had a dark past, and now he's running these insane amount of miles and getting good times. And then just talking to him through the race, like bopping around, good spirits. The last 8 hours was with Keely, and he was Keely. It gave me goosebumps. He was like Keely's biggest supporter. Like, there is no way he would have ran even another hour if it wasn't for Nic. Like, and I'm the type of guy, if I was that person, I'm like stepping on the back of their neck. Like, you ain't going any further. I want this to be over. And he's just like, no, come with me. We got this. We'll run till the next day. Like, waiting on him. He's just a special kid. Like, I think he's going to be a name to remember, which I saw him at Hennepin. He ran another 100 at Hennepin, and then he just ran a 24-hour. He got top 10 at Arrowhead, and now he's running Mines of Spain in a couple days. He's just stacking tons of mileage, and he's found something he loves, and he's going all in. I'm
a big, you know who Joseph Campbell is? Power of Myth, like myth guy. Joseph. You seem like a guy who would like get into that type of stuff. So but I read The Power of Myth over the summer, and one of Joseph Campbell's like biggest things is to like follow your bliss. Like, when you feel something, and when you're like, he would talk about like when he would interact with, because he was a professor, he'd interact with the student, and when he'd see their eyes light up, he's like, whatever that is, you need to figure out what that is and follow it. And I could tell, like, yeah, you're right. Like, somebody like that's, and it's one of those things. It's like, running ultras isn't like lucrative at this stage for this guy, right? And that's okay. Like,
it's not lucrative for anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, even the tops have full-time jobs.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, but I mean, there's something to more humans need to kind of follow that, like those good vibes that come from stuff, right? And I think, you know, whoever smashes that out, it happens to a lot of us. But yeah, that guy, the let's keep going with the competitor type of mentality was really cool to see people. And it's not even competitor. It is, because like there is an element of I want to beat people. There's always that element. But there's always an element of like me realistically, like I signed up for that race and I had sprained my ankle super bad playing morning basketball. Like I shouldn't have ran on it like for like a month basically. And I ran on it like a week and a half later cuz I'm a goober and I kind of knew what I was doing, but it was also frustrating. And like I had signed up with a plan of like I'm going to actually prepare well for this. And that plan I literally like 2 weeks before was when my ankle started to not hurt when I ran. So I was like, all right. But yeah, there was an element of like, even what I did, I was proud of, but there was like, all right, like, yeah, how much more could you get? How much better could you get? And that was also really cool. And like, I don't know if you know Todd. I don't remember Todd's last name. He's from
Courtney?
IOC. He evidently wanted to. Yeah.
I'm good friends with Todd.
Yeah, like when that guy pulled up and got out of his truck, I'm like, this guy's not like an ultra runner type of thing, but that guy can freaking go. Like, and that was his journey. We talked about his, he's ex-military or retired military. Like, he was low and he was feeling out of shape and his health was affected. He's like, I got to do something. And like that's what I often love about like the runner's journey, is like it's like I just started going and I just felt what I could do and started to try to go a little further, right? And it ends up being a really like, you don't know all the details, but like that guy's story is awesome and it's changed his life. He's probably a lot more emotionally regulated. Probably has made a lot of good health choices because he cares about running enough to do that type of stuff, or he just running kind of balances it.
Well, that makes him a better father. And that's what, when you're a dad, or when you're a caretaker of any sort, just running just makes everything else in life easier. For me, every time I run, life gets a little easier. You know.
I love that. Do you like lift or do anything else? Do you
coach? I do.
So you're in West. Tell me more about like what you do from a physical standpoint now, just because like I'm curious to see what it looks like for you.
Yeah. So I am. Every morning I wake up. I'll just go through a routine here. So couple hours ago I woke up. I go right outside, get my feet on the ground, and I do. It's like a Chinese medicine cabinet, like. Almost like warm up to Tai Chi, like getting my body moving, body waves, lymphatic hopping, and just waking myself up, stretching, jumping around, like acting like a kid, by myself for like 15 minutes in the dark. Really, and then I come in and I do like a face plunge. And that gets the whole family involved. I put ice in a bucket, some lemon and some little potion in there, and we dunk our faces. And then I'll usually go to work, and then sometime during work I'll go to the gym every single day, and and there's things I do every day, no matter what. I get 50 pull-ups in, and then usually get in a chest workout or legs or something, and then run 3 or 4 miles. That's what I hope for every day. Try to get that in an hour, hour and a half, and then. So every day I gotta move. If I'm not moving, then my brain just feels like I'm failing. And whatever I tell myself, that's okay as long as I'm getting to the gym. I grew up, my dad coached everything. And we were athletes. I'm the oldest of 6. Everyone in my family did sports, and it wasn't driven down our throats. Just it was a way of life, was athletics. Yeah. And my dad opened the weight room. I've lifted since I was 6th grade, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every day. And I don't know if you remember the BFS program, Bigger, Faster, Stronger.
Oh, this comes up so much. Because how old are you?
40. Just turned 40 a couple weeks ago.
So I'm 37. So like we went through like middle school and high school in the Bigger, Faster.
Okay, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. That I grew up. Yeah. I am BFS. Like I grew up. That was my dad, and I still do it today. Like because it's the core legs, core chest, and I keep it very simple. Like. If I'm coming into the gym, I'm going to do my pull-ups, my ab stuff, chest, and run. do the same thing
Yeah.
and then do legs and run. Do the same thing and do shoulders and back and run. So
Yep. Yeah.
every day I'm
It's
going to the
it's
gym.
not a bad program. Like this is the thing about like a lot of the stuff that when I was first exposed to my biggest problem as like a high school kid, like I'm looking back at it and I was just such a I was like the team guy. I literally won awards for being like good teammate. Like I was that kid. You probably know this kid. Like tries really hard, you know, plays and like isn't not skilled, but like I'm not like the best player. I was a pretty good soccer player, but like football, basketball, it was like I was the team guy. So, but my biggest thing is like when I would have buddies who could like crank out, like they were benching like, you know, even like 135, you know, like
Yeah.
which for a high school kid is like pretty impressive. I was like, man, I can't do that right now, and I feel like shit. And so I like almost shied away from it instead of being like, let's get into it.
Sure.
And I think some of that's just like kind of having coaches who like make it okay to fail, right? And you know, I can't really blame anybody for that, but like, yeah, man, like looking back on it, it's like most people were directionally correct. It's like you just like let's get these kids moving and doing something hard, and their form doesn't have to be perfect. Like
Right.
they have to be getting a little bit better. Like in the early 2000s, like we were pretty good with exercise stuff. Now there's just so much information and so many hucksters being like, that's bad for you. And it's like, no, like it's just you have a different system. So anyway, I love that you bring up BFS because I had multiple people say like, that's what I was doing. And
Yeah.
because that's kind of what I would.
Well, and the older I get, the more, like I would say 5 years ago or even 10 years ago, what you're just talking about, the social media presence of so many different exercises overwhelmed me. And I think that's, I'm making excuses, but I think that's part of why I didn't do much. And then the older I've got, like, if it works for me and I'm 40 now, like gravity and time is no joke. I mean, that, regardless, like you bring it up all the time on your posts and things, like shit's gonna hurt. Like it's impossible to not have something ache or hurt or every more, like if it works for me, I'm gonna continue to do it. Like the Tai Chi thing I'm doing in the mornings, oh my gosh, like I will never not do it. Like it wakes me up mentally and stretches out joints that if I wouldn't do that in the morning, will be ailing till I go to bed that day. And if I would have just got up and moved just a little bit. So I don't dive down to the rabbit hole too much more than what works.
Yeah, my mentality is just when I warm up every day, like I feel good. When I don't warm up, or when I like, you know, we went to the North Shore. We drove for 7 hours to like come back on Sunday just to get home, and like I didn't move that much, and like my body and my mind were like, oh, and it's not like what I think people think of. The hard part about pain is it's a universal thing. Like, and there's a lot of people who claim like you should be pain free. If you're painful, you're doing something wrong. It's like no, it's just the state you're in. Like it's not that much different from being like sad or being like you're gonna go through the state, and how you manage that state ultimately contributes to whether or not you feel better. I have an exercise bike right over here, and if I hop on that for 15 20 minutes in the morning, I feel great the rest of the day, and I don't have to go hard. It's just like literally warming up.
Yeah.
Right? And I just don't think people get that. Like
No.
and then because they're in so many people, they get up, they get on their phone, they go to work, they live the same damn day, and they don't like that they live the same damn day, because there's not a bad thing about living the same damn day, but they're just not doing anything that's like a palate cleanse inside of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Since you brought it up, I will bring up, and I bring this up to my wife all the time. She's come around to it now that we're getting older because she understands it. But like ultra running, when you get into a long, just use 100-miler for example. I just paced Lisa Lake at her first 100 miles. She ran actually at Broken Anvil. She was training.
Oh, bro, yeah, I remember her. Yeah,
Taller redheaded girl.
She was having a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just how it relates to life and everywhere for the pain cave's sake. What you just said, like everybody's hurt. It's a matter of getting to the other side of it. Like the pain cave or the hard part of an ultra is the same thing. Like you got an extreme low. You acknowledge that you are low, and it's not going to kill you, but your goal then is, how do I get out of this hill? How do I get to the top of this hill? Is it, do I take a break? Do I walk? Do I take a nap? Or do I have the ability, will my legs grind through this? Can I grind? Can I accept that this is going to suck for 3 hours and everything's temporary? I'll get over it. Like your mind goes to these places where you don't just have a binary decision of I am chronically injured. This is it. I'm done, and I will be
Yeah.
injured till I die. Where
Yeah.
an ultra,
Yeah.
you don't have a choice unless you're going to get sign up for a bunch of ultras and quit. Everyone goes through that part where it really, really sucks, and you find out, can I come? Can I? How do I get to the other side? Not A, B, C is the steps to get there because they're not all the same.
Yep.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
takes reliving some trauma. Sometimes it takes crying your eyes out. Sometimes it just takes some mashed potatoes. Like there's just so many different ways to get to the other side. And then to relate that to what you bring up with quote unquote chronic pain, or you live with pain, you find a way to live with it. You find a way to get to the other side with it, or you don't. So either you're selling yourself way short, or you figure out a way to get to the next day a little better than the day before. You know?
Yeah. I mean, like 2020, we can go back to like 2020, and I try to talk pretty openly. So the hard part about like being a physical human, and is like, yeah, a lot of times movement and play is a big part of my emotional regulation, right? And while like 2020, I was actually, there was a lot of things that led to me getting really low. One of them was just consuming too much news, too much information that I couldn't control, right? But also like we lost our jobs, like because we were traveling and we were working in a hospital, and they're like, we don't need you because our patients aren't coming in right now, right, for therapy. And so we were in like a really good life situation, and then we went into, we don't have jobs, and then I had to go get like a nursing home job just to keep going. And it wasn't that was a bad job, it was that I was dealing with literally people who were 80 years old and isolated. And also there's a potential infectious disease that like is novel and can be really scary. And I 30 years old at the time, or whatever I was, 31 or 32, I still didn't understand grief or any of these things, or just even like how much we're affecting each other. And then I couldn't go to the gym. And so like I did start to try to run a little bit more, and I immediately like tried to run my 5K pace that I did, like, which was dumb when I was like a 20-year-old kid. And I like strained my calf. So then like I couldn't run very well. And then I went really deep into like a pit, and I didn't know, like I was having all these like little physical feelings that really are, you can pretty much associate with anxiety, depression. Like all these things are kind of the same side of the different coin, and it took the insights of like learning about this stuff to help me see that I could trace back my steps, right? Like I always kind of talk about with people who are kind of like struggling with stuff, is like, has there ever been a recipe for like when life is like really good for you? Like for me, it looks like enough social, because I'm kind of a hermit too, but I do need social relationships. They're just with people that like fill me up, like good conversations, laughter, physicality. So like physical therapy school was a lot of that, because me and my buddies would go play sports all the time. We were constantly dicking around and joking, and then like I met my wife in school. I was learning all the time, and then like so there was like this recipe, and it's like, what's your recipe? And a lot of people, it's like, yeah, I was learning, I had like a goal. And I'm like, well, what's it? Right? Like, they don't have those same things. And then they wonder why they're so low. And it makes sense, because you're not pursuing anything, right? Or you're not challenging yourself. Or you think that you can't because of external circumstances.
Yeah.
And so then that's like where, like what you talked about, how do we create options? Like, what do you need right now? Sometimes it is just like, go out for a good meal. But sometimes it's like, dude, you need to just set a goal and pursue it, right? And then keep going. Like in pursuit of that, right?
Yeah, that is, you just said it. That's what makes me happy is discipline, consistency. The older I get, that just fills me up. Like one thing I cannot stand, and my kids will tell you if I ask them what's the one thing I can't stand, they know it's laziness. Because it's not necessarily... laziness gets you to dark spots, in my opinion, especially because most people are, I give most people the benefit of the doubt. Like I'm I'm going to expect the best in you until you prove me wrong. So most people that aren't physically fit or don't keep their mind busy or have a goal they're going for, go to the dark place, go down the media hole. The world's fallen in. And it makes me, I don't get angry that easy, but it upsets me to see them like that, because it's like, you could fix this by having a bigger goal than following stuff you don't even understand. Like for me, like when I got out of this, started my sober journey and all that stuff, and I started picking out these ultra races, and then it was just randomly like, okay, this race is 6 months away, I'm training for it. It took me like a couple years to realize, man, that simple fact of signing up for a big event makes my life so in tune with what I'm wanting to do. Because in order to get fit for, let's just say, 100-mile race, I've got to train pretty consistently, and then that bleeds into the rest of my life. So like, I've got a routine of it's as simple as getting up and making sure I do 1 load of laundry, getting the dishes done. Like, it really makes me happy to be like, well, if I can run 100 miles, if I don't do the dishes and the laundry and be there for my kids and be a coach for my kids, and what's the point? You know? And then really it's that goal of the ultra marathon has done all of this for me. Not that it's like the only thing, but if I step to the line of a 200-mile race in the mountains and I didn't check all them boxes before, in my mind, but I'm not the warrior mind that there ain't no way I can run 200 miles if I can't even do something as simple as stick to a daily regimen of consistency and discipline. Because that's what's going to get you through the hard time. But that's also what keeps my mind off of the darkness during the week. I mean, and if there is darkness I need to confront, then you just get over, you go through it. Get through it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun, but you got to get through it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so much of I think it's Seneca or Epictetus. I love Stoic philosophy because it's like these dudes like 2,000 years ago like nailed the reality of a lot of stuff, right? Doesn't mean there's not perfect. Doesn't mean there's not circumstance that like is changed, right? But like, we suffer more in imagination than reality. And I honestly think so much of our quote unquote darkness is just that people have figured out how to prey on our imagination. Like, like, I mean, gosh, I really try to stay out. I have to be on Instagram. I don't have to, but if I could market in a way that like got me clients and like worked pretty well with that wasn't Instagram, I would do it. But it does. I also like to think that I'm trying to put out some good, right? And again, but yeah, like, it's just preying on our imagination. Like, I don't know what's going on in Washington. I don't know what's going on. And like, do I wish that I did? Maybe, right? Do I wish I knew what was happening halfway across the world? Maybe. But our brain, we did not evolve to know what was happening around us in the greater world. We evolved to like take care of our immediate circle of concern, and that's okay. Like, when I sign up for stuff, I'm doing something for me. And then I see that, like, dude, you can't do the thing for you if you're going to be selfish in every other arena of your life. So, like, you got to show up for your kid. You got to help your wife. Like, right? And it's okay to be both. And, like, also, yeah, man, it's like, it's just, we don't get, and I think this is a piece of, like, age and wisdom. You make life easier when you do the simple, hard things. Like, I timed, one really good tool is to time how long some of the shit that you don't want to do actually takes. Like, I timed how long it takes me to pack and unpack the dishwasher. It's like 2 minutes. And it's like, okay, dude, you have 2 minutes. So do that thing, because then your wife doesn't have to do it, right? And then it's like,
dude, I think the same, what you just said, I think the same exact way. Efficiency with the time. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, Cause then it's like, yeah, like it's crazy what doing the 5 things that don't take you very long frees you up to do, right? And but most of why I don't want to do stuff is because I build it up that, oh, that's a pain in the ass, when it's like, it's really not. And really good opportunity for like meditative mindfulness type of practice. Like, dude, doing a simple task like this, if you just focus on it, like, it's very freeing. It grounds you, right? So
yeah.
All right, sobriety. what made you like, because I don't really like to drink that much. I like wine. Me and my wife have a glass of wine. I still think about like, should I just like go straight up sober? Is there a reason like you went straight sober, or is there like, do you ever think you'll go to some other form, like, just like, what is it about that pursuit for you?
Well, the alcohol thing started when I did drink a lot. I came from a construction background where, that's what you did after work, was you drank a 6-pack.
Yeah.
And I'll just say I was a very high functioning alcoholic. So, I could drink, and a beer was the thing. So I could drink 20 beers and you would know, my wife would tell you you'd know, but I could socially be fine.
You could
function. And then right. And then my brother, we kind of come from a background of alcoholism, not necessarily alcoholics, but like very addictive personalities. And he called me. He's like, "Hey man, I've been sober for 6 months." He lived out in Seattle at the time. I'm like no alcohol at all? He's like, "No." And competitive nature, I'm like, shit, I can try that. And it wasn't because I felt like I needed to be sober for real. It was like competitive. My brother's doing it. I want to see if I can do it. And then like a couple months went by and it's like, man, I don't really miss it. Like I feel good. And I was trying to get into ultra running and stuff. And I was like, man, this is helping out my training. It's like, let's just see if we can go a year. Year went by and like I didn't miss it at all. And I was more present with my children and saving money. And my wife was happier. I was like, man, this is a ticket. And then it really, and I'll be honest, it was California sober. I still dabbled with THC. And that's kind of where the straight edge thing came through, was I wanted to see where, because you hit on it earlier, like, and I smoked stogies. I really liked a nice cigar. I'd take the dog for a walk and smoke a cigar. And it's a very easy way to escape what you want to confront or need to confront. Like, I'm getting out of reality. I know exactly what I'm doing with this stogie or this THC gummy or whatever. I know that I'm getting out of reality, and I'm smart enough to know that I'll deal with that when I'm back. When the highs wore off, when the brain rush is gone, I'll deal with it when I'm back. So this straight edge thing has been super hard. Like, it's only been 2 weeks. Today, I think, is day 15 of completely sober from trying to do, like, if I go, I'm going all in. So, like, vegetarian, and I've been vegetarian for a while and before, but media sober, like, culture, like sobriety in the most pure form, promiscuous anything, and being in my brain more is I'm getting through it, but it is so hard. Like I'm so it's just difficult to like have to sit with your reality, like there's no escape anymore, which now I'm running even more. That is the escape. That is the but not to lean on it, but just to try to find the new way through, this. You know what I mean?
I think it's unrealistic for all of us to, like, go monk, right, and detach from society and, like, all these things. Mm-hmm. But humans are very much, we have to trade one addiction for another, right? So make the other addiction better for you, and then learn how to manage that. Like, strength training 7 days a week, really, really balls to the wall, probably not a good time, right? Like, you got to learn to manage these things on you, right? So, as running, balls to the wall 7 days a week, probably not a good time. Maybe, that, like, the Nick Steele guy, like, he's found a way, and he's driven, but, like, he's also, there's always there's a pendulum or there's a scale, right? And there has to be some amount of what I basically tell people is, like, yeah, I exercise like 6-7 days a week, but I'm not like crushing myself. It's a physical practice. Like, probably 2 days a week is when I'm like really trying to go hard, or one element, like my squats, or where I'm like trying to push or whatever, right? But like, because we're gonna break. Like, if you go too hard too often, we see this too much with like kids anymore, where we're making athletics like their job, and they can't handle it. And it's like, no, like, it should be play. When you're doing something because it's play, it's also a very different feeling when you're doing something because it's like a work like thing, right? And that's tricky too. So yeah, Nick, I'm gonna ask you, what should people do if they want to get in? I got two questions. What should people want to do if they want to get into ultra running? And then when's the next backyard anvil? And then we'll wrap up. Or the Broken Anvil Backyard Ultra. When's that coming up? And then we'll wrap her up here.
Yeah. If you want to get into ultra running, just in your head, what's the longest you ever run? And then I tell people to go run that away from your home or where you're coming back, so you have to run it back, or make the decision to call someone to come get you, and then you'll know if you like it or not.
Yeah.
And then Broken Anvil, September 21st, 2026, and you can sign up on ultrasignup.com. I think we got 20 or so people signed up already, so yeah, next September.
I love it. I have yet to decide if I'm going to do it again, but I'm definitely going to do it again at some point. Honestly, it's one of those things like I'm competitive enough where I'll want to beat my prior year's time, but we'll see where we go here. So also not spraining my ankle really bad would be a beneficial thing this coming year. So
that'd be helpful.
Yeah. It was pretty rough. I am going to make a post on it pretty soon because it was pretty janky for a little bit there. But yeah, Nick, thank you so much. I'll just tell everybody his Instagram handle, Across the Crick Nick on Instagram. I'll put that in the show notes just so people can check it out. I'll also put up I'll put the ultra sign up in the link here as well.
Right on, appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it. It's been fun, and have a good Wednesday.
Yeah, man, good vibes to you. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Thank you.